Hello students, today let's discuss about C programming. To start with, let's see what is an algorithm. An algorithm, it consists of step-by-step instructions that must be performed in a particular order to process the input data and convert it into the desired output data. So what do you mean by this? We are given with a particular input, we will have to process that input and finally we are going to get the output. So the steps involved in doing all this, we call it as a algorithm. It will be like English like statements itself. So the other way of defining algorithm is, in general, it is a sequence of steps to solve a particular problem. So this is a simpler way of defining one algorithm. So let's see what are the qualities of a good algorithm. Input and output should be defined precisely. Each steps in algorithm should be clear and unambiguous. This is very important. All the steps what we have to define, it has to be very clear and there should be no confusion in the steps. It has to be unambiguous. Algorithm should be most effective among many different ways to solve a problem. Mean to say, to solve one problem, there will be different ways. So, of all the different ways available, the algorithm we write should be the best one. So, you mean to say it is the most effective one. Next, an algorithm shouldn't have computer code. Instead, the algorithm should be written in such a way that it can be used in similar programming languages. Mean to say, an algorithm is programming language independent. It will be like English like statement. Once you write an algorithm, you should be able to port it to any programming language. Say you have written one algorithm that you can code it in either C or C++ or Python or any programming language. Mean to say, the algorithm should be programming language independent. Now, what are the properties of an algorithm? So, Donald Erwin Nuth, he has given a list of 5 properties for algorithm. So, let us see the properties one by one. Finiteness. So, an algorithm must always terminate after a finite number of steps. Mean to say, the algorithm should not be infinitely long. At one stage, the algorithm should come to an end. Definiteness. So, each step should be very clearly defined. So, it means to say it is precisely defined. Point 3, input. Any operation we perform, it need some beginning value or quantities associated with different activities in the operation. We mean to say, for any algorithm, we have to give a specific input. We will be doing some particular processing. It should generate some output. That is how the process works. Next is output. One always expects the output or result in terms of output from an algorithm. So, any algorithm, it should generate the output. Effectiveness. So, algorithm should be defined or developed using the basic operations. So, these are the 5 properties of algorithm. Now, let us see the 3 terminologies: algorithm, pseudocode and program. How these 3 are different. An algorithm, it is a systematic logical approach which is well defined step-by-step procedure that allows a computer to solve a problem. So, that is how we define an algorithm. Algorithm will be like English like statements. It will not be written to any particular programming language. Coming to pseudocode, pseudo means false. So, pseudocode, it is a simpler version of a programming code in plain English which uses short phrases to write the code for a program before it is implemented in a specific programming language. Mean to say, the pseudocode almost looks like a code. It will be a chunk of code, but it is not particular to a particular programming. It is not specific to a particular programming language, but it looks like a code. Then program. It is a set of instructions or code that a computer follows to perform a specific task of operation. So, the program, it is actually the set of instructions. It will be programming language specific, which the computer understands to perform a specific task or operation. So, finally, we are going to write the programs. To start with, we write either the algorithm or flowchart, then we convert that to a pseudocode. Finally, we are going to write the program. Now, let us see how to write an algorithm to find the area of a square. So, any algorithm, as I already mentioned, it will show the step by step procedure. So, step 1, we always have a start and the last step will be stop. So, these two steps are mandatory. Step 1, first we need to know what is the formula for finding the area of a square. So, area is side square. Now, we need to know what is the side. So, we have to accept this side as the input from the user. Then we will have to multiply side by side. The product, that is side into side, would be the area which we are going to output. So, that is the program. Now, let us see how to write an algorithm for doing that. Step 1 would be start. Step 2, we are going to input the side of the square. So, this side is a input variable. Step 3 is the computation. We are going to compute the area which is equal to side into side. So, after computing side into side, the result is stored in the variable area. So, step 4, we are going to print area. Step 5, we are going to stop. So, these 5 steps are involved in finding the area of the square. This is the algorithm. Now, how do we write a pseudocode for the same question, that is finding the area of a square? Step 1 is input side. We are not going to write start, stop, etc. We are directly writing the pseudocode here. So, step 1 is input side. Step 2, area is going to get side star side. The assignment is always from right to left. So, the variable in the LHS is going to hold the result all the time. So, area is going to get side into side. Step 3, we are going to print the area. Area is the output variable. Here side is the input variable, area is the output variable. The computation involved is side star side is going to get, area is going to get side star side. So, this is the pseudocode. Now, let us see how to write a program for finding the area. This is the syntax of C program. We have hash include stdio.h. This hash include is a header file. std stands for standard, IO is input output, H stands for a header file. So, standard input output dot h, this is a header file. Main is a function, main open parenthesis closed parenthesis. So, any C program having main is mandatory. This int, this is the return type. We can write int or we can just write main. So, both way it is okay. Sometimes we write void main also. If we are not returning any value, we can write void main. So, the return type is optional. Now, int main open brace closed brace. So, this syntax is this is the syntax of C program, and side we are going to call it as a float variable. So, float side which is equal to 10.0, area is one more variable of type float. Now, area equal to side into side. I have declared a variable side and I have initialized that with a value 10. So, I am not inputting the value for side, I have already initialized. Area is side into side. So, print this is the message which we are going to display. Area of the square is this percentile F. This is called as a format specifier. So, F indicates float, percentile F slash n, this is a escape sequence, it represents a new line. So, after this message the control goes to the next line, that is the meaning. So, in the place of percentile F, area, this value in the variable area is substituted. So, area of the square is the computed value would be displayed. Return 0, since we are using int main, the value 0 is written here. So, this is how we write a simple program in C to find the area of a square. So, let us see how to write one more program. So, you have a given problem, write an algorithm to determine a student's final grade and indicate whether it is passing or failing. The final grade is calculated as the average of 4 marks. So, this is a question. Now, we will have to write a algorithm for this. So, how do we write the algorithm? Step 1, start. Step 2, input a set of 4 marks. So, there are 4 variables. Then calculate their average by summing them and dividing by 4. So, we have inputted 4 marks. We are going to sum or add all the 4 marks and divide the total by 4. That gives the average. Step 4 is, if average is below 50, go to step 4.1. Otherwise, go to step 4.2. 4.1, you print a message fail. 4.1.1, you go to step 5. If it is 4.2, you are going to print pass. So, if average is below 50, go to step 4.1. Here you are going to just print fail. If this condition fails, we are going to step 4.2. In 4.2, we will print the message pass. So, step 5 end. This is how we write the algorithm for finding the result. Now, for the same question, if we have to write a pseudocode. So, let us see how to write a pseudocode for this. Step 1, input the 4 marks, say M1, M2, M3, M4. Step 2, we are computing the grade, that is, as we said, it is the sum of all 4 divided by 4, that is M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus M4. Do not forget to put the bracket. If you do not put the bracket, it will become only M4 by 4, but actually we need the sum of all the 4, that is why we are going to write the bracket, then divided by 4. Step 3, now we are going to check for the grade. If grade is less than 50, then we will write or we will print fail, else we will print pass. So, this is end if. So, whenever we have if, this is the structure, that is if, else, and if. Now let us see what are the advantages of algorithms. An algorithm uses a definite procedure. It is not dependent on any programming language, so it is easy to understand for anyone even without the programming knowledge. Every step in an algorithm has its own logical sequence, so it is easy to debug. It is easier for programmer to convert it into an actual program. Now let us see what are the disadvantages. So the algorithm is time consuming, difficult to show branching and looping in algorithms. Big tasks are difficult to put in algorithms. So these are the limitations of algorithms. Now let us see what is a flowchart. The flowchart is a diagram that visually presents the flow of data through processing systems. We can also say it is a graphical representation of the sequence of operations in an information system or program. Flowchart is a blueprint of a design you have made for solving a problem. So we can define flowchart in any of this way. Having said that, let us see the basic flowchart symbols. So the rectangle, the name is, it is a process. It indicates any type of internal operation inside the processor or memory. I mean to say, any computation we do, we place it within a rectangle. This parallelogram, this represents input or output. So the function is used for any I/O operation. It indicates that the computer is to obtain a data or output the results. Coming to the rhombus, this shows the decision. It is used to ask a question that can be answered in a binary format, that is yes or no, true or false. Wherever we have to make a decision, the decision should have only two values, either it is true or it is false. Then we are going to use this symbol. And the circle, it is a connector. It allows the flowchart to be drawn without intersecting lines or without a reverse flow. So it is going to connect the control flow. This represents the predefined process, that is a rectangle with two lines in this. A predefined process, it can be a function used to invoke a subroutine or an interrupt program. And coming to this, it is a terminal, indicates the starting or ending of the program or a process or interrupt program. So this oval like shape, it is always used to indicate the start or stop of the flowchart. And these lines, the arrows, one directed, single directed arrows, these are called as the flow lines. It shows the direction of the flow. So these are the different symbols used in a flowchart. Now let us see how to write a flowchart. We have already written the algorithm and pseudocode for finding the grade. For the same question, let us see how to write a flowchart. To determine a student's final grade and indicate whether it is passing or failing. So as I mentioned, we have a start block. From the start block, we have this control line. It goes to this input block, input M1, M2, M3, M4. So we are going to accept 4 marks from the user. After accepting the marks, that is given to this computation block. That is, here we are going to do the summing, that is we are going to add m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus m4, put the brackets so that it will not become just m4 by 4. So, this entire thing is summed up, the sum is divided by 4. The result is stored in the variable grade. Okay. So, now we are going to use this value which is present in grade. Here we have a decision box. Is grade less than 50? There is a question. Is grade less than 50? It can be either yes or it can be no. If the answer is yes, if the grade is less than 50, display, fail, go, stop. If the grade is less than 50, no. If this is a no, then display, pass, then come down and stop. So, in both the cases, either this case or this case, you have the result is, it is ending at stop. So, we pass the control to the stop. So, it is a flow chart. Now, let us see the guidelines for developing flow charts. So, there are some points which we have to keep in mind while developing a flow chart. Flow chart can have only one start and one stop symbol. On page connectors, they are referenced using the numbers. General flow of processes is top to bottom or left to right. This direction we have to keep in mind. We do not go from bottom to top. It is always top to bottom, left to right. Arrows should not cross each other, because when we talk of arrows, they are the control lines. So, there should not be any overlapping of the arrows. They should not cross each other. Now, let us see what are the advantages of flow charts. Clarity in process visualization. So, it is always good to visualize things. Clarity in process visualization, then effective communication tool, it facilitates problem solving. Then coming to disadvantages, difficulty in presenting complex program and task. This is very difficult. When we are dealing with huge problems, it is difficult to give a pictorial representation of them. No scope for alteration or modification. Once we write a flow chart, it is difficult to alter or modify that. So, these are the limitations. Reproduction becomes a problem and it is time consuming process. Difficult to understand for people who do not know the flow chart symbols. So, these are the disadvantages or limitations of a flow chart. Thank you.